brush, let's make sure my brush is wet because my paint is rather pasty. So I'm going to pull some of it out and just kind of mix it up a little bit with some more water and extender so that I can get some wet paint instead of pasty paint. Okay. Again, should have done that with a palette knife instead of my brush, because now I have to clean the brush out because I'm side loading. Okay, it's been a crazy day trying to get this lesson filmed before I go to work, but first I had battery problems, and then now we're having consistency problems, but I'm not giving up. We're taping. Okay, so I'm going to dress part of my brush with the undiluted glaze medium, which has since dried on my palette, and the other side with my yellow shading pigment, a yellow shading mix. Work it on the palette, get some of that bead of shade color off. Okay, I'm going to shade this petal, following strokes, starting on the outside. It's almost like a walked float, just doing all the sections of that petal. Okay, I'm going to put a little more paint on my brush. Get loaded a little better for the scroll that's coming up. I'm going to put Tammy's bridge back out here, and we'll do this one. So I'm going to start my brush where I want to end, and then a little bit above the surface I'm going to wind up. There we go. Make sure that my hand is where I want it to be when I start, and then I press the brush, roll around and unwind my hand, lifting as I get thinner. Okay, let's come around. I'm going to load my brush again, and do these two scrolls right here. Okay, going to start down here where I want to end up, wind my hand up so that when I set my brush down, all I have to do is unwind my hand and follow. Okay, I'm going to pull that one again. There we go. Okay, reload. Palette blend. Come back here. I'm going to do the same thing. After you do these for a little while, your hand will automatically wind itself up because it knows where to go. That's muscle memory. That's why you need to paint a lot all the time, or a little all the time, a little every day, so that you don't lose your muscle memory. Okay. Here. Make sure I get this scroll. I'm running out of room on my table. Might be able, yeah, I think I can use the bridge this time. Okay, I'm going to reload. Start my brush down at the end, come up and wind up, set it down. Wait, set it down on the wrong side. Okay, here we go. Set it down and pull my stroke all the way back. Okay, isn't that fun? I love this. I never thought I would like to paint this way, but I love it. Okay, here we go one more time. I keep starting my wind up with the paint on the wrong side. Okay, here we go. Did it again. When that happens, just hold your hand still, take your other hand and twirl that brush around to where it's on the paint is on the correct side. Okay, and I have one more. Alright, there's our yellows. Okay, I'm going to rinse this. And I'm going to move to the white. So, pull some of that pasty paint over here. And do the same thing I did with the last one. Last color. Put some extender out. Extender works better for me than water. If you'd like to use water, then use water. If you have your paint in your wet palette for 6 weeks, like I did, while I went to Hoot and did some other things, and then and you don't like to throw it away, then you can work it back with water and extender, or a little bit of both, or one of each. And I'm using extender. Extender behaves for me, and water does not. Now make sure I start with a clean brush. And one side I'm putting glaze, undiluted glaze. The other side I'm putting my pigment, or my mix. Palette blend it. Alright, so let's go to our petal, and we're going to put that color right here. Oh, I know what I didn't do. I didn't add the burnt umber, or the raw umber to our color. I knew that did not look as dark as it should. Okay. So I'm going to brush mix this one. Alright, now let's come back and do this again. I think I need more. Mix it until you get a value that is darker. It's all relative. If the mix you made doesn't look darker up against your medium value, then mix it darker yet. The formulas for the mixes are correct, but everyone mixes differently, and so if you need to adjust it, then by all means adjust it. Now we're getting some dark shade color. Okay, so let's see. Right here, our shade goes on the green side. There, now this is showing up much better. Okay, and then we have a petal here. Now I want these to be a little darker yet, so I'm going to let those tack up and dry a little bit, and then come back and go over them one more time, adding even more raw umber to my mix. Now we're getting what looks like a better shading color.